Okay, so we are talking about the Education 4, which is a desired approach to learning that aligns itself with the emerging fourth industrial revolution. And this industrial revolution focuses on smart technology, artificial intelligence, robotics, and so many other new technologies, and all of which now impact our everyday lives. So now let me take you through a small introduction about our company Seek. Is it audible and visible?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So myself, Dr.Ushaa Eswaran, and let me introduce myself. I'm an engineer, basically electronics and communication engineer. And I'm planning board member at Trivandrum University. And also I run a company named Seek. And Seek is an organization which offers skill development, career guidance, and academic consultancy. I'm basically an academician, educationist, entrepreneur, career analyst, professional life coach, motivational speaker, NLP master practitioner, and a YouTuber. And I have around 30 years of experience in the field of research, industry, and education. And I've addressed more than 20 lakhs of people on various platforms on various topics, and also trained more than a lakh of students for placement, and also placed more than 10,000 students and counseled more than a lakh of people. And this is about services offered by Seek. We concentrate more on the career guidance, academic consultancy, and skill development. As we all know that students just take up their course right after their 10th, just with their advice by their classmates or with their parents, and they don't know what to do. So this guidance will definitely make them understand, knowing their personalities and strengths and likes and dislikes, and also aligning that with their future. They have to plan their career. So that is what we help the students to design their career. And also we do a lot of academic consultancy to all the schools and colleges. And also we focus more on skill development activities. We work with corporates, government organizations, BPOs, call centers, academic institutions, other training providers, event management and related companies, recruitment and placement agencies, general public, and group of individuals. And we also focus more on employability skill enhancement training. And as I was in the education industry, I've also had a taste of being a placement officer. So I had a long-term connect with the industry, and I could feel that there is something missing in the institution, and we could feel the gap that is existing between the institution and the industry. So I thought like something has to be done, and we concentrated more on filling this gap. So not only the technical stuff, but also a lot of expectations of the industry, which the school or a college does not teach any individual to be addressed. And also we do a lot of services from here, like we do a Spark workshop for schools, especially to give them a scientific introduction about how to learn. Actually, there's a lot of difference between learning and studying. So we are just focusing on making the students understand how they understand the concept and learn, and they can apply for the future requirements. So that is that makes a lot of difference in the students after our workshop. And also we do a personalized career guidance, and we focus more on the faculty development program, as we need to bring some change in the education industry. Then the teaching learning process also need to be refined, and it should match with the expectations of the industry and also the 21st century, the way the students have to learn. And a life skill is something which is very mandatory for every individual, and we focus on that. And also a lot of 21st century new skills have come up, and the expectations of the industry keep changing. So we need to make them understand, because there is no big curriculum in a school or a college to teach all these things, and they have to pick up from their home or the environment or the society, but they are all focused only on the mobile phones. They don't even see what is happening around. So the empathy and emotional intelligence, people management and interpersonal skills, communication skills are the major skills which they lack in. So, and also facing adversities and resilience, all these things are very, very mandatory for the students, and we focus on all these workshops. And also I work a lot for the women improvement, and especially on the gender sensitization, women empowerment and the entrepreneurship. And we also offer services to corporates, and I feel proud to say that we continuously support and give training for the railway protection forces, railways and the income tax offices. So we are regular trainers for them, and also we address their issues and give a customized program for every industry. And also for many corporates, we handle a lot of workshops based on their needs. And those who would like to seek our guidance, you can seek us. And the children, especially the students who would like to know their own self, know their personality, strength, interest and potential without going along with somebody else, like you identify what is you are potential, and based on that you can design your career, and we are here to help. And I'm a YouTuber. I have more than 900 videos concentrating more on the motivational stuff, and also a lot of career guidance and the latest technologies and how they have to prepare themselves, the skills required. And a lot of things are there in the YouTube. And you can also reach me on this number for any guidance in this area. So this is about Seek, and now we are with the guest, and we are very honored to have a very learned educationist and a well-known person, Dr.Lovi Gupta. He's an executive dean of Faculty of Technology and Sciences at lovely professional university. And I am very much attracted with his wordings, which I have seen in one of his postings. That is, he has told, dear scholars, your research outcome should not just be read by the future generations off the shelves of a library, but experienced by them in the course of their lives. This line, sir, it impressed me like anything. I really liked it a lot. And happy to have you with such wonderful thoughts. And he holds a PhD in bioinformatics, and he did his MTech in computer aided design at interactive graphics from IIT Kanpur, and B honors mechanical engineering from MITS Gwalior. And he is a person who is an example for learning is a never ending activity for any human, whatever may be your age. You need to keep updating yourself and keep learning about what is happening, and that gives you a self-satisfaction, and also you feel so confident about your own self. And he is one person whom I admire a lot for his time, because we all say that we are all busy, but with so much of busy appointments and a lot of things, he is able to do so many things. He should be definitely an inspiration for us, and he has done a lot of specializations and certifications, like the latest technology of IoT, augmented reality, gamification, machine learning, deep learning, AI, and Google machine learning. So this is these are is research institutes. I mean, interest, that is robotics, mechatronics, bioinformatics, IoTs, AI and ML using TensorFlow and gamification. See, we can see people having interest in one area, but sir, I'm really amazed to see so much of interest you have in so many areas, because this is something amazing that comes only by passion, not by compulsion. And really admire your patience and the time you spend for all these things. And also a prestigious appointments he has held. 2001, he was appointed as an assistant controller technology and Ministry of IT, Government of India, by the Honorable President of India in the Office of the Controller of Certifying Authorities. And in 2013, he was accorded the role in the National Advisory Board for what Can I Give mission, Kalam Foundation of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. And awards in 2011, he received the MIT Technology Review Grand Challenge Award, followed by the coveted Infosys Infi Makers Award in the year 2016. And recently, I heard that he's collaborating in a research project with the Stanford University. And also he has his credit a lot of patents, and he has 60 plus published patents, and some of them are listed here. That is Bago Moto, a unique foldable commutable board in a bag which can be carried anywhere. Powerless lift mechanism in 2013, an elevator system working without electrical power for lifting. And Sitabai, that is a posture proctor. And the recent patent, I mean, I've seen in the newspaper, an IoT-based wearable device to maintain social distancing to prevent COVID virus in 2020. So it's a never-ending mission that he wanted to do something to fill the gaps and resolve the problems which are around him. So I'm really very honored and happy to have you here today, sir. Welcome you for this session.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ushaa. Thank you so much.
You can share your screen, sir.
Thank you so much. But before I share my screen,
yes, sir.
I wish to see all the people in the house.
Okay.
So I would request everybody to
can you all turn on your videos, please?
Videos, and please unmute your mics. Give them the
yeah, I have not muted.
rights.
You can unmute.
You can because I need to see to whom I'm talking to. I'll be more energized and I'll be more happy to see you before I commence.
Yes, yes. Can all the participants switch on your video, please?
Right. So good to see you all. Quickly, because I want that we should be knowing each other not through our avatars or pictures on the profiles of ours. We should be actually seeing each other face to face, because that's what I call new normal. You cannot meet in person people, but you can really see them like this. So that's something awesome. Now, before I start, I really wish to understand from all of you that why are you here, and why are you wanting to spend around an hour with me? Because that's very important. Now, that you're not here without a purpose, or you're not here for something that you didn't had anything to do, and you have come here. So anybody who can speak out maybe 2 sentences that why they are here and what do you expect out of them? Go ahead. I intend to listen.
Sir, this is Gopinath, sir.
Oh yeah.
Good evening. Good evening, sir. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good.
Thank you very much, sir. So actually, what my expectation is, I want to get your your experience. I want to know about what are all the steps you followed for becoming this position, so that I want to know about your experience and the path that you have crossed to come this position. So, and if you share some technical as well as personal advice, so that it will be very useful for us to come up in. So that is my expectation, sir.
All right. So people
you can talk about what is that you want to learn about Industry 4, if at all you have some introduction about it, or really you don't know anything about it and you want to know about it. the audience can just give your views or.
Because I do not want to sit here just talking about it. I do not want to make it a client server kind of a communication. I want to make it peer to peer, because I'm not here to teach you something. Rather, I'm here to learn from you. Because uh, Dr. Gopinath asked me that what is the key mantra with me. The key mantra is, there are two things which I follow religiously at any given point of time. One is that you learn at any given point of time. Even if you are sitting in a rickshaw, you can learn how best the rickshaw puller is using the law of parallelogram of forces, because none other than him can use that law very well and more efficiently than him. So that's the first takeaway of my life. That wherever you are, even you are opening up a, a, a piece of wrapper in which you got your pav bhaji or your some evening snacks, you open that paper up and there's something written there, and that can give you the learning of your life. So learning is something which is around you. Right now I'm learning. Right now I'm really learning that what I'm learning, that people are shy to show their faces. People are really shy to show that where they are sitting. You should not be shy. You should really not be shy, because if you are shy, you are not learning. The irony with us, primarily as Indians, is that we are sitting in the class and we have a question. We do not ask a question because we consider that I really do not know what my friends are going to think about me. Are friends going to learn for you? Ask questions, participate. That is the first mantra. Because until and unless you participate, you are not learning. And the second mantra is, be truthful. You can befool somebody that, yes, I know this. You can befool somebody that I am an expert in coordinate geometry. You can befool somebody that, yes, I know genetic engineering fairly very well. But you as an individual know that how much do you know about it. So be truthful to yourself. My major essence of life is that I never leave a place with a doubt. You can call me a happy man because I never sleep with a question unanswered. Before I sleep, I have all the questions which I had throughout the day. I get the answers, then only I sleep. So that is the power that at the age of 55 years, I still am doing 3 courses. I'm mentoring 5 specializations on Coursera, and so on and so forth. Anybody else who wants to tell me that what they want to listen from me? First of all, Dr. Ushaa, my language, my pace of dialogue, my voice and everything is absolutely okay.
Everything is fine, sir. You can be little more louder.
Okay, I can be a little louder. Now is it better?
Yes, sir.
Better than?
Yes.
Okay. So anybody, or I'll catch up people. I'll catch up people. There's a person called Nijanandan Regan. Nijanandan Regan. I wish to learn from you that why you are here.
Nijandan?
Sir, yes, sir.
Yeah, Nijandan, I wish to
you,
learn from you. Learn from you that why you are here. What you are wanting me to do.
can you on your video, please, Nijandan?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Speak on, Nijandan.
Possibly Nitindan is either not getting that bandwidth or something like that. Dr. Sudhir, please tell
Hemalata,
me.
Hemalata.
Hi, sir. Good evening.
Yes, yes,
Dr.
madam.
Sudhir.
Yeah, you
Dr.
tell
Sudhir.
like why you're
Yes,
here for
madam.
session.
Why,
Yes.
why are we here? Why are we here, Dr. Sudhir?
I want to learn new things, sir. I attend so many webinars. I want to learn new things.
New things on what? New things on, please.
A new technology.
Okay.
I want to, and collection of certificates is one of my hobby. That's why.
All right, Dr. Sudhir. Dr. Sudhir, I wish to know from you. Dr. Ushaa, I'm audible now properly?
Yes. Yeah.
Is it not that way that people are not
No,
listening?
you're audible.
It's fine. It's fine, sir.
Yeah. Dr. Sudhir.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Dr. Sudhir.
Yes. Sir, I am a dentist, sir, doctor.
Oh.
I am odd among this group. Madam, maybe madam knows that I am fond of following this.
No, don't say that. We are working on cross-functional.
Okay, thank you, madam.
One need to know about the other area. So I welcome and I'm very happy that you are here.
Wonderful,
Thank you.
wonderful.
Thank you, madam. Yes, sir. I am fond of not only in my profession, I want to know about the technology and what is the recent technologies and all those, which are helpful in my profession. I am doing that. I am in faculty teaching profession. So I want to know that any tools like learning tools or anything which are helpful for me or also for the students to actively engage them. That is the thing, sir. That's why I'm here to.
Dr. Sudhir, you need to understand, that with the advent of technology like IoT, with the advent of ubiquitous computing, people have designed mechanisms. You've got a toothbrush, which is smart enough to track your movements of the teeth. And the moment you stop brushing, it'll actually tell you that these particular segments of the teeth are not properly brushed today.
Yes, sir.
I'll have two opening thoughts. Now I'm trying to begin. I'll have two opening thoughts. One is, in today's context, nothing belongs to a discipline. Absolutely nothing belongs to a discipline. You go and talk to your mobile. You go and look to your mobile. That mobile does not have any one discipline's onus. It does not belong to electronics. It does not belong to computer science. It does not just simply belongs to any of these branches. It also have a fair amount of participation of civil engineering, biology, bioengineering, biomechanics. It has got whole loads of things muddled and mingled together to form an object. The kind of interaction which we are doing using Zoom, do you think that only computer science or some bit of networking is letting this happen? You're wrong. The camera and its orientation is completely governed by the biomechanics and is completely governed by the contour mapping of the imagery which you are seeing of mine and which I am seeing of yours. In today's context, do not think that you belong to a discipline and you should be knowing about that discipline only. I'll give you my example. I did my bachelor's in mechanical engineering. But you know what I did when I went for my master's? I took up computer science majors and did something or the other in interactive graphics and computer-aided design. So that brought me to computer science and core computer science. I did courses in core computer science, and then I moved on to cyber security and computer security. That time it was not more of cyber security; it was more of secured systems. And finally, when I landed up myself into the possibly the highest degree, I studied biology because I could see the trend being shifting. I could see that people are now moving towards IT, ITES. I've seen all the paradigmatic shifts which were happening. I've seen the Y2K. I've seen the dot-com bubble. I've seen the internet getting converted from people to social. I've seen technology getting converted from human-machine interaction to machine-machine interaction. So all these transitions needs multidisciplinary approach. All these transitions. See, I'll give you an example. I'll start my presentation a little later. You're sitting in these present times. Have you ever have had a thought of these times on 20th of January 2020, which is not so far away? But in just 3 months of time, we are so conversant talking to each other through this media and mode. Earlier, see, on January 20th, if Dr. Ushaa might have come up with an email that Dr. Laviraj is going to talk to you on online through one of the platforms, you might have said, what you are talking about. Can this happen? But now it is a way of life. It is a style. I do not convene a meeting in person. Since 10th of March, I might have had more than 700, 800 meetings, but all these meetings are happening like this. Now, we as individuals need to understand that where the technology can get included, not in the rocket science. We are not bothered about that how to go to Mars right now. We should be more bothered about that how do I ensure that this Zoom meeting would carry my voice and audio signals undisruptedly to you. And that's simple thing. The second thought is life around you is very simple. Start thinking simply, because our education, I'm talking about all the education, douses the fire of thinking simple within us. Have you understood what I've said? The education basically, tries to instill that anything and everything is complex. Nothing is complex. Everything is simple. See, if you open the tap and the water is coming, forget about the vortex which is created inside, forget about the eddy currents, forget about the Euler's or Lagrangian's approach. You are going to use it. And if the water is not coming properly out of it, it will have two aspects. One is the rocket science aspect, in which you go and do a whole load of fluid mechanics and try to figure out. And the second is take a spanner and change the filter which is placed. These times of COVID have taught all of us a lesson that if you are going to think complex, problems are going to get complexer. Start thinking simple. Now tell me, are we good to go, or you think I'm going to waste your time?
Sir, we are waiting for your presentation, sir. Please go ahead.
Do you all agree to my thoughts? Not
Yes,
you,
sir.
Dr.
Yes,
Ushaa, not you, because you are the host. So I do not want your opinion. Do you think my thoughts are aligning to your expectations?
Definitely, sir. Whatever said you said is right.
Mr. Veera,
Yes, sir.
I want to listen from you. Are my
Yes, sir. Yes,
thoughts
sir.
aligning to the expectation?
Exactly, sir. Exactly what you said, that is correct. What we are expecting from you and from the people like you who are enlightening us and guiding us to develop the skills to how to deal with the students and how to adapt the new things into teaching field and day-to-day life. Those are the things.
I must share that with this group also. I always share this with my faculty members because I had 35,000 students in a go, and with more than 3,200 faculty members. So I very often talk to my faculty members, and all the faculty members who join LPU. They undergo an induction program, which is a very well designed induction program. And luckily, I have a slot in there to talk to them. You know, maybe for teachers, I'll come a little later because I know that the students are also sitting here. But when I decided to take teaching as my career, that was way back, leaving aside my civil services and things like that, and all those good, wonderful, grand opportunities of working in Hero Honda. That time, it was something, a dream kind of a job, and I worked there. So when I moved on to teaching, my friends said that, yes, you have decided the easiest path in life, and you're going to walk in a park. And after 1 year, I went back to my same group and said, yes, I'm walking in a park, but that park is Jurassic Park. Do not take the meaning of Jurassic Park literally. It has got a literal meaning, but I'll tell you, the children sitting inside my class are mighty, not in terms of their volume, but in terms of their exposure and learning. I might have never ever visited the Leaning Tower of Pisa, but they might be knowing anything and everything about the Pisa because they have a friend there on their social media, and they have had loads of discussion on Leaning Tower of Pisa. I might go and study a book on Leaning Tower of Pisa, but they have experienced Leaning Tower of Pisa. So I have some presentation. You know what this education 4.0 means. I'll share everything and allow me to. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it is going to be visible because my laptop generally does this twice or thrice a day, every time. And hopefully you're seeing my background.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What does it say?
Education 4.0.
No, my background, my video's background.
Only the PPT.
No, your institute.
My institute
Pandemic
and
analysis.
pandemic analytics. I'm taking up a 2 weeks short-term course on pandemic analytics, and we are actually using all the Python, all the analytics, and all the machine learning on the COVID data set, and we are trying to build up predictive models, prognosing models. So let us begin. That am I audible to all, Dr. Ushaa?
Yes,
And
sir.
is my screen visible?
Yes, sir. It's fine, sir.
All right. So education 4.0 is the word which is coined out of something called as industry 4.0. The world has moved on to industry 4.0. I'll tell you why this is known as, why the present era is known as industry 4.0. I'll talk about that. During the flow, the itinerary is something like, I'll be talking about the evolution so that we are very clear that if we are sitting on today, what happened yesterday, what happened day before yesterday. So what are the reasons that we are sitting today? I'll add a glimpse of COVID-19 to it in the later. But to begin with, right now, let us consider that COVID-19, this is pre-COVID-19 kind of discussion. I'll include a whole lot of thoughts on the COVID-19. I'll call it as an era because it has come up as an era to all of us. We'll talk about the events. We'll talk about what are the stakeholders, state of art, where we are, and final takeaways. So 4.0 is much actually talked about. People are talking about this 4.0, that 4.0, but it all started with Industry 4.0 because we are in the fourth revolution. The first revolution happened when humans used water and steam for production. Prior to this, all the production was happening through hands of individuals. Maybe if you are creating a sword, then somebody is beating up the heated metal for you and you're crafting the sword. Or if you're building a bullock cart, then novice or knave hand-oriented skill were used. So the first revolution came when people started using water and steam for mechanized production. This was the first revolution. The second revolution came when electric power came into picture. So people used electric power for mass production. Earlier, it was just batch production which was happening. And once the electricity was pushed into the industry, it became the mass production. This is 2.0. Then came the electronics and IT kind of a flavor coming into picture, and people developed automated productions. And we are now in this era of fourth revolution, which is automation and data exchange, and we are completely working on digitalization. See, 1.0, as you might see here, 1.0 is clearly about, steam and water coming into picture. The 2.0 is very clear that electric power was powering the production. But here, everything changed from here. When small ICs, they were created, and the power factor was reduced drastically, and you can create modules so that you can automate processes, and you can create a mechanism which can be controlled by a preset lines of code, and you can do multiple times the same iteration with the same effectiveness, sensitivity, accuracy, and precision. But this era is unthought of era. In this era, people are talking about cyber physical systems. They're talking about machines talking to machines. This era was just simply, machines running and people operating. This was operational era when people were operating machines. Now here, people started interacting with machines. Means this era gave rise to human machine interaction. There's a way difference between operating a machine and interacting with a machine. Operation means that the machine does not have its own capability. Whatever you want or whatever you have the skill in, they'll do that. But here, when the interaction was brought in, the machines were capable of adapting to what human is wanting. But here, in this era, a new jargon or a new paradigm has started, and that is nothing but the machine-machine interaction. I call this as MMI, machine-machine interaction. Two machines are talking to each other. Believe me, when I'm taking this presentation or this workshop of yours, my laptop is already talking to all your devices. You might be connected through mobiles, you might be connected through a laptop, but my laptop is absolutely talking to your devices. You might think that what fiction and what storytelling this man is doing, but I can really show it to you over here that what your devices presently have an openings on, other than the Zoom meeting, what all are open. So if my device can see that, it can basically learn the temperament of the user who's owning that mobile. This is a perfect combination of machine-machine interaction and bringing the liveliness in any of the things. I'll give you certain examples there, but let us have a reality check. Dr. Ushaa, am I audible
Yes,
completely?
sir. Everything is
And
fine.
the presentation is okay?
Yes, yes, fine. Absolutely fine.
Okay. So let's do the reality check. The reality check is we all are bothered about what? Learning, na? Dr. Ushaa very rightly said that there is a way difference between studying and learning. I'll give you an example on what Dr. Ushaa said. Did you study your mobile? No, none of us studied our mobile. Did you study cycling, going to a class and attempting the examination and then passing the examination so that you are a certified bicycle rider? No. You learned them. Nokia or Samsung didn't give you classes, online classes like this, how to operate the Nokia phone or Samsung phone. You have learned it. This is the exact difference between studying and learning. In learning, you will never ever say that if somebody asks you at 2 o'clock in the night that there is a cycle standing outside, you go and get me something, it is emergency. You will not ask him or her that, sir, can I do some revision? I did my cycling 20 years down the line or 5 years down the line, or I did my cycling 6 months down the line. Nobody said so. So this is the way difference between studying and learning. So if we talk about learning, you know what used to happen? And I'm talking about 1.0. Now you understand. Industry 1.0 was mechanization. So there was a formal form of learning and there was a informal form of learning. Formal is when you go inside the classes, you sit across like this, people talking to each other. And the informal is you go out and you learn bicycling, you learn from the others or happenings or activities around you. So this was the entire scenario of learning. Most of the learning comes from formal and informal, and these informal forms and formal forms are very well associated and were interacting with each other. I'll give you an example that once a child takes the first step, it is the perfect combination of explaining what learning is all about. And it is also a perfect example of how formal and informal gets associated. Your mother would hold your hand when you're taking first baby steps. But then when you moved on to your first staircases, there was nobody around and the learning was informal. That's the power. But that was learning evolution 1.0. Nowadays, I'll talk about what has happened. In 2.0, what has happened is that this informal and formal, they're separated apart. And only just a part of learning is happening informally, which is a little more than that is that of formal. So formal and informal are getting departed, and the learning is happening from somewhere else. Did you see this kind of learning? This learning is happening from somewhere else. This learning is happening from not even the happenings and activities. This learning is happening from a YouTube video which you see. This is neither an informal nor a formal form of it. And now the third revolution is that this person came into picture. Technology. And it actually created more drift between formal and informal. And the technology took over the informal part. Did you see that it took over the informal part? It is somewhere touching in evolution 3.0. It is somewhere touching the formal one, but it was not there. But surprisingly, what has happened is that informal, did you see the circle is going less in diameter? The formal circle is also getting less in diameter. And could you see that how much learning is happening in the formal form of it? And everything is actually being taken up by what? By technology. So this is the present state. And if I include COVID, this circle would come here. This circle would actually go a little inside, but this circle of technology would go somewhere here. Now we need to understand the power of this. We really need to understand the power of the biggest circle. I'll take you through there. The stakeholders, according to me, in teaching learning process, because I'm talking about education 4.0. So I'm specifically focusing on teaching learning focus. One is the tutor, a student. The other is the tutor. These are the stakeholders. The third has become now in 4.0, the technology. Can anybody tell me very quickly in a chat that what can be the fourth stakeholder? These are not just simply the three stakeholders. I can see your chat. Can I see the chat? You have made the chat on, Dr. Ushaa?
Yes,
Possibly.
I'll do it.
Yeah, please make the chat on.
Yes.
I wish to figure out whether they are very much here or they are not here.
Yeah.
So how much, what is the fourth stakeholder you, according to you? Quickly on a chat, if Dr. Ushaa, yeah, Dr. Ushaa can make it on.
I have made it on. Can anyone try typing on the chat?
Yeah, somebody's typing. App developing, hi sir, parents. Oh, Madhi Hemlata says parents. Okay. So just one or two app developing. Where is the guns for? Anyhow, I'll continue. The fourth stakeholder is, the teacher's testimony. It is not the parents. It is the teacher's testimony that you need to prove your worth as a teacher, which in 1.0 or 2.0 was not there. I'll give you an example. So what happens? Somebody is actually putting on some marks on the slide. So let's look to the stakeholder number one, that is the learner. And Dr. Ushaa, when I was talking about Jurassic Park, this gives you a clear picture of mightiness of the inmates of that Jurassic Park. See, we'll talk about, about this millennial learner. Now, the people who are going to join LPU in 2020, they're no more a millennial learner, obsolete. They're obsolete. Now they are this Gen Z learners. So I'll be talking about year 1, year 3. This is based off whole loads of research which I've divided this years in. These are the years, number of years of the age of people. Tell me one thing. At year 1, if you have a child around you which is 1 year old, what he or she is an expert in? Are we wanting the chat? Quickly, anybody? Okay. Anybody? Management, yeah. What he or she is expert in at the age of 1? Management, toys. Okay, somebody said toys. That's good. Okay, I'll tell you what they're expert in, and you'll have to agree to me. You know, these 1 year children, they're expert in mobile phones. They know how to swipe and answer a call. And if you place 5 mobiles in front of them, they'll pick the costliest one. They're at the age of 1, which was not happening in neither in learning evolution 1.0, nor in 2.0, nor in 3.0, but this is happening in learning evolution 4.0. At the year 2 or at the year 3, they're selfie masters. 3-year-old child, he or she will be a selfie master. You'll not be able to figure out the angle, but he or she will be able to figure out and give you the best selfie. At the year 7, he becomes the gladiator because he has used best of the weaponry by now, because he's playing all those games, which gives him all the information about all the weapons available around. By the year 10, he's a globetrotter. I was talking about Leaning Tower of Pisa. I'll give you the same example, because in one of my classes, I talked about Leaning Tower of Pisa, and there was a girl she was able to tell me each and everything about Leaning Tower of Pisa. She never visited the place, but she has got 4 or 5 friends out there, and they used to share all the videos and pictures around Leaning Tower of Pisa, and she knows more than anybody else about that. So they become globetrotters. At the year 13, they become scientists. They know about what do you mean by EDL. None of you in this group possibly might be knowing what is meant by EDL. EDL is something, PUBG, somebody is writing PUBG. Very good. I didn't want to take the name so that people should not consider that I am a promoter of anything like that. But this EDL, let me tell you, what this EDL is. EDL is a very complex phenomena. I kept the track of Chandrayaan sitting on a national TV. This EDL is nothing but EDL. Okay, don't show that. EDL is something, which is known as entry, descent, and landing. How does it enters the environment of that particular planet? How it actually descends, and finally how it lands. So he's a scientist by the year 13. By the year 17, actually, he's a celebrity. You might not figure out, but he has got thousands of friends on Facebook. He gets like on a selfie, or he or she gets a like on a selfie, like anything. And the most important thing is that this is the scenario. That a child now says that how can I trust your information when you are using such an outdated technology? This little child considers that if I am scribing anything on the board, I'm outdated in technology. Now, this is the stakeholder one. This is about the tutors, and now tutelage. Now, this is about the tutor. See, the paradox is, if you can really see what is happening, that somebody is saying, I taught Stripe how to whistle. Now, this Stripe is the name of the dog. The other person asks, I don't hear him whistling. And see, the paradox and the irony is that the person is saying, I said I taught him. I didn't say he learned it. Now, this is where we need to understand as teachers that where our role is, our role belongs to this word or our role belongs to this word. And this is where the essence of the entire education 4.0 is going to lie. The other thing is, we teach like this, let them sit in, boxes, but the learning happens to them is like this. And this may be sitting in Delhi, this may be sitting in Karnataka, this may be sitting in, Bangladesh, and so on and so forth. This graph is again, out of loads of research we have drawn, that this is your class time. On the x-axis, we have plotted the class time, and on the y-axis, we have plotted the intensity of the focus. You know what happens by the true time? It should always increase like this. It should increase like this and continue. Maybe it should go a little more while the class is going on. But actually this happens. I'll remove the earlier red ones so that you can clearly see what all happens to them. Yeah, you can very well clearly see. This is the focus or engagement during your class. And the distractors are something like this. Here, if somebody is actually interested and the focus goes higher, he's actually replying to the attendance. Raju, yes, madam, and so on and so forth. And then finally, all these distractors, they come into picture. Why I'm talking about this, that as an educator or as a tutor, who's into the era of education 4.0, you need to understand this engagement and focus curve. You very well need to understand this focus and engagement curve very well. And the third is technology. See, the entire education is built around this, that you give data to an individual, he'll convert it to information. And in the class, both the teachers and learners, they'll build some knowledge and then finally create the insight. And the examination would be around what? The wisdom. This is the basic intent and expectation. But what has happened? People just simply work on what is the insight and what is the wisdom. Because all this thing is done by Google. Now this is the Google. So you are eradicating that curiosity. You are eradicating that zeal of asking questions. And you are giving an insight and finally letting him read this insight and assess his wisdom, which is exactly not wisdom, because wisdom comes from this entire pathway when it is from data to information to knowledge to insight to wisdom. It's not just from somebody else's insight you develop this wisdom. No, Information population, I'll talk about this. I have already talked about that from human-machine interaction, people moved on to what machine-machine interaction. And now people have moved on from CPU to GPUs, and now I work on TPUs. These are tensor processing units, so you need to work on them. This is the high-end technology which has just come up. Availability of computation anywhere, anybody can use it, any device, any services. This has given birth to a new kind of era. Virtual labs are there. You've got Science Journal. If you do not know about this, Science Journal, do download this app. This app was developed by students as a startup and then finally taken over by Google. Now, this is a wonderful thing, you know. All the people who are into science should have this application. I'm not promoting, but it has got such a wonderful thing that you can set up an experiment with your mobile with all the 16 sensors you have it. I'll show you something, you know, which we did when PM Modi was here. We actually recorded his voice and the claps of the audience, and we extracted the most admired moments from his speech. Now, this is again a patent to our name, but all was done on a mobile because we were using the sensors of this mobile and plotting them on a timeline. Of course, there were a whole load of speech recognition, speech translation, NLP, NLG kind of mathematical models which were sitting, but basic data capturing was done on the simplest of the devices. People say that spouses, this is spouse domain device. You'll not be needing anybody because, you know, if you've got Alexa around, you'll often talk to people around you and you'll talk more to Alexa. But this is going to be a game changer in times to come, hopefully, because I'm one of the testers of this technology. This has come up in the Education 4.0 only, that teachers' testimony and teachers have to prove their worth. The very, very complex thing in a very simple, you know, illustration, that you cannot ask everybody to do the same set of problem, to give the solution to the same set of problem, because everybody is different, completely different. I might not be good in logic building, but I'm good in, you know, translations. So if you are assessing my knowledge only on logic building in a computer programming course, I might not do well. But I can really create a gamified system for translation. The diminishing truth. All of you need to look to this slide very carefully. See, this is I've extracted it from the net only, but this is the bare. This is the fiery truth. In 1970, if for a geometry class a problem is to be designed, it will say that calculate the surface area of this object, wherein the dimension, the length and width of the thing is given. There is a cut, there's a cut here, there's a fillet here, there's a fillet here. So you need to calculate the area of this object. So somehow we are actually easing out. We are we are getting liberal, and we are actually flaunting the attitude of chalta hai yaar, thoda let us relax. You know what happened in 1985? This object or this geometry became simpler, and again the problem is that only calculate the surface area of the rectangle, and it is the simpler one. Actually, it should happen like this. This is the true essence of assessment, evaluation, and understanding the learning outcomes. But this has been eased out. This is in 1985. And in 2000, calculate the surface area of rectangle multiplying the length by the width. All right. So more simplified. Further more simplified. Choose the correct answer. What is the surface area of the rectangle? Can it be 8 lakhs, can it be 4,000? No, simply. It's like this. Obviousness. You are simplifying things. We are simplifying things. And height of height is 2015. Choose the correct answer. What is the surface area of the rectangle? And the options given are maybe Michael Jackson, Canada, 600, and the breakfast. And if you think that we have eased out a little more, scenario is this. Color the rectangle with the color you prefer. So have you seen how it has evolved time and on, easing out? What was the expectation? How that particular curricula, how the particular expectation was designed? But possibly, what is happening is somebody has written 609 out of 600 because it was 609, not 600. Do not bother about it. You look to the ease of the entire thing. So moving on, this is the diminishing truth which has happened, evolution of education. You can go to EduGov and read more about it. In 1960, if somebody gets an F grade, this is what happens, the parents and the student. But if in 2010, if the student gets an F grade, this is what happens. The decides are that we need to move on, and this is not the resolve. This is no more a resolve. This is actually, I must, I'll not be using the word thanks or appreciate. I must put 2 ticks here because this all is now become a lifestyle because of this. No brick and mortar, only online, 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 online. See, people might consider that the online learning is not that good. But self-learning, experiential learning has always been. Learning means learning through experience. Go back to my example of cycling. Go back to my example of mobile. Experiential learning. And when it is online, you have that courage, you have got that opportunity to explore yourself. I'm not demeaning the classroom education. I consider it to be the best form of the education. But we have somehow changed the modus operandi there. The classroom education is more of discussion. It's not ratta. It's not basically telling you x plus y is equal to z. It is more of intriguing. Why this x plus y is equal to z? Why it is not p? Why it is not q? And if it is p, what is there? If it is q, what has to be there? So we at LPU are working fervorously on this online education learning. I'll give you certain examples and cognitive to experiential learning. I'm moving ahead with the uh, something in LPU. We have recently started this. There's now a copyright with me. We call it as experience it yourself. It is something beyond DIY. You might have heard this word DIY, DIY, DIY. Do it yourself, experiential learning. We are starting now something called as experience it yourself. Now, in this experience it yourself, we are bringing industry to the classroom. It's not that just simply an expert coming and talking about it. We'll go to an industry, create the meaningful videos, and then my faculty would explain each and every process in detail. Even if there is a gear hopping happens, even if somebody's scripting sitting in an industry, somebody's scripting a GUI on Python, we'll capture there and bring it to the class, and we'll tell that if you're going to use Kinter or if you're going to use any other what you see is what you get kind of tools, this is what is going to happen, and this is how user experience and user interaction takes place. This is the ideology, and we are embracing the new normal. This is the complete methodology. This is an IPR protected thing which we are about to begin. And I'm talking about LPU, that how we have overcome all those kind of scenarios which I talked earlier. We focus on learning analytics, and we have now one more thing which is going on, engage, engagement analytics. We are working fervorously, even if there is an online class, and if you open up your camera for a while, the engagement score is with us. So we take care of that. We do a whole load of practices. I'll take you quickly through what kind of interfacing we have done. We capture what the student is doing inside, or how he's feeling. What he's doing inside is not being captured. How he's feeling inside the lab, whether his standard operating procedure appropriately working, or there is some chemical which is not there present, and if the experiment is going wrong, what is the reason. And this everything is online, available on the student's mobile phone. We have come up with this new thing, and this has proven worthy. We call it as HOLDERE version 1.0. This is again a teaching effectiveness and rating engine.
Sir,
We
go
try to,
slowly.
sorry.
Sir, go slowly, sir. We can't able to understand that. Can you please say about the use case learning analytics once more, sir?
Okay. Use cases, learning analytics, and engagement analytics. I'll have to actually rush down because these are all IPR kind of things. But I'll talk about to a stretch that this is something which we use to capture the students' verve inside the labs. He or she can really participate in each and every lab he does through this, and furnish the emotions, furnish the pitfall is the wrong word, furnish the betterment, and suggest a better way of doing that experiment because he has done it and he got the better idea out of it. This is we capture the emotions of the student while they are sitting inside the classes. We capture them on 5 basic parameters, that how the delivery is going on. This is absolutely not policing, because this is something like that if I as a teacher can really view that what my students are thinking about the examples which I am giving, I'll be better off in giving the examples. It's like Sachin Tendulkar watching his own match after the match to better off his betting. These are all IPR protected things. These are some of the dashboards for the faculty in which I can judge how my quality of delivery, quality of content, and examples and applications are going on inside the class. Certain takeaways. I intentionally left this slide blank. I left this slide blank because I had certain takeaways in my standard presentation of Education 4.0, but because of the present scenario, because of a friend like this of ours, you all know this graphics now. Because of a friend like this, which has come up, ours, a debacle, menace, we have completely had a shift. Our mindsets have shifted. How many of you have ever thought that you're going to take up classes sitting in your home and maybe drinking a cup of coffee? No. But this came in as a challenge, but this gave us loads of opportunity to revisit our mechanism. Now I'm seeing actually students, they do loads of experiments also with me. Or when I teach them IoT, or when I teach them pandemic analytics, we work on collaborative mode, and we have just one Jupyter notebook or Google Colab sheet open for us, and we all script there. This is the power of collaboration. This is the power of thinking beyond. The students, the teachers, and the technology, all three of them, parents are now very much ready to abreast and to embrace these changes. We all three, the teachers, the tutors, and the technology, because we are the primary stakeholders. we need to think that how we are going to change our ways and means. Technology is very much there to support you. I can vouch for technology because I develop technologies. So technology is very much there. It is just simply about the mindset and the attitude of both the students and the teacher. I'll give an ironic closure. He's a friend of mine actually. Not the person on the screen, but the person by Jews. See, the irony is that teaching and learning is promoted by a good superstar. He's a wonderful actor. But you know, the company didn't found a teacher who's so popular like him. And they have to actually ask him to promote teaching and learning. So we all need to actually compete so that, you know, in the next advertisement of any of the teaching and learning frameworks or modes or mechanisms or company, a teacher should be there. I thank you all, and that's all from my side. Hopefully, I haven't wasted your time. But thank you, Dr. Ushaa, for giving me the opportunity to learn from all of you, and possibly that's all from my side. Thank you.
So thank you so much. I don't have words. You made things very simple. That is what I admire in you. Really, the last but one slide, you know, like before the thank you, as you said, the teacher's picture should be there. That's really touchy. And as you said, we have not become so popular to advertise about teaching learning. And a lot of things we learned from you, sir, today. In a very, very simple manner, you explained. And especially, I like the emotions of these students you could measure when the teacher is teaching. That is, I was talking about this a few days back. Like if we have some technology, like when we pay for the movie or anything, you know, like only when we are happy, the money should be deducted. So
Dr. Ushaa, if there can be a star rating for a movie, there can always be a star rating for each and every class. And the audience should be made or given an opportunity to rate. And that's in a very positive spirit we should take. So I'm there for maybe around 5-7 minutes, and if I can take up any queries or questions.
any still questions?
But one thing, I need to see you and I need to hear you. That'll always be better because
Yes, reading chat will not be comfortable. Yes.
Yeah.
Whoever would like to ask any doubt, please switch on your camera and speaker and ask your question.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, this is Josh Fernandez from Tamil Nadu, sir.
All right.
Sir, first of all, it was a very nice presentation, sir. It's thinking level is somewhat, we are out of box thinking. Like that, it's not a usual presentation. It's like out of box thinking, sir. Sir, I have a question now, sir, that actually, first of all, let me say about me. I'm working as assistant professor in Andhra Pradesh, sir, one of the college, and Dr. Ushaa ma'am has came to our college. Actually, I previously worked in Tamil Nadu. Now, when we're working in Andhra Pradesh, Dr. Ushaa ma'am came to our campus. Previously, worked at a college in Tamil Nadu, and gave a session that is about the motivational program. And I'm also a follower of ma'am in YouTube channel also. And by seeing this LPU, that is a person coming from the LPU, and very much delighted to watch this webinar. And there is a family function in our area, but I came to that is garden. So in order to watch this webinar, sir, it's a nice presentation, sir. Actually, sir, what is that question me, sir? Nowadays, students are finding a shortcut ways, or whatever the things we are telling, they are finding a shortcut way to learn that one. And even though the process is very much takes some time, but they are asking some shortcut ways, sir, in the learning processes, and as well as in the job also, sir. When we are finishing their final years, they are fonding of to get a high paid salary in the final year itself. And they are finding a shortcut way in the learning mode as well as in the job mode. What is about your view, sir, in this question?
Thank you so much for actually sparing time, because if you are in a family function, it is difficult to listen to a person. See, let me tell you, when I was talking about the stakeholders, students as stakeholders, and I told you that when they were 1 year old, they were swiping the mobile, and by the time they come to you in engineering, they are already a celebrity. So for those many years, they have got a attitude, habit, and a mindset of skimming things. Skimming means that they do not want to read anything, because they are habitual of tweets, small little things might be meaningless, but they are happy. They want, they are not persistent zealers, they are not persistent, they are not patient. They are wanting something, give me a flash of thing, give me a TikTok. I can take the name even though it is banned, but they want a TikTok suddenly, and that lives for a very short duration of time, and they are happy with it. See, life is not a short video. You need to understand. You can befool a person once, but not twice. I'll give you an example, which Dr. Ushaa should also listen to this. You know what these mass recruiters and IT companies have started doing? That they'll not give a one-liner question while they are attempting their recruitment test. They'll give a bigger set of paragraph, and in the last they will not ask what will happen if this thing happens. They will ask what will happen if this does not happen. And children, they miss on that does not, and they're smart enough to know that who has read that paragraph completely. As a teacher, believe me, as a teacher, if you're giving them something, see, I talk to all my teachers. You have seen my engagement graph going on like this. You've seen that engagement graph in which Facebook coming into picture, IPL coming into picture. Why can't I create those moments for my student? All my teachers in LPU, they create wow moments inside the class. We call them as mozo moments or wow moments. And wherever the student may be, you create that wow moment in me. He's very much there in the class. So use their attitude and use their mindset to bring them back to your class.
Sir, can I ask one question?
Yeah.
Sir, first I have introduced myself as I'm Rizwan from Panimal Engineering College graduated. Okay, sir, I am going to do ME further. Sir, what is the use of Google Lens here, sir?
Google Lens?
As you told, Virtual Lab Science Journal and Google Lens. Google Lens is an app, sir?
Google Lens is a?
Sir, what is the use of Google Lens, sir?
Oh, Google Lens. Google Lens is going to change the way you look to this world. Right now, you look to this world and you see a car and you go closer to that car and try to figure out who made this car, how beautiful the color is,
okay, sir.
how old it might be. But by Google Lens, you point your camera to that car and Google will tell all about it, all about the car, even the history of that car. See, all the technology is to refrain you from curiosity, because the more you are curious, the more you are wanting to know. And the more you are wanting to know, you will be using less technology. I'm developers of technology like this. So the basic thought, basic intent is that to capture an individual to that level, so that he's not thinking anything else and he's very much engrossed here. So that's the technology. I'm talking about Google Lens. I might have talked about Baby AI. You know what Baby AI is? Uh, Baby AI is a module which is not developed by a human. It's a module which is developed by an AI engine, which was developed by a human. So there is no human intervention, and the AI model is really giving birth to its own child model, where there is no human intervention. So technology is actually going great speed ahead.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
When we go on this online mode of education, mostly the theoretical part can be covered and even the software programming part can be covered online. In LPU, do you have any facility or you have found any application where the mechanical civil students doing their laboratories, like practicals? How do we overcome the challenge? How we can make it online?
Mm, I'll tell you what we are practicing past 4 years. We have started 4 years down the line without even thinking. See, I'm not talking about the core workshops or maybe using lathes or milling machine or using that high tension panels, electrical panels. I'm talking about basics. See, there are a whole load of experiments which you can set, which a child can do or an engineer can do at home. So 4 years down the line, we started a concept called lab at home.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And all our first year students, be it mechanical engineering student or electronic students or civil engineering students, they encounter a course called lab at home. And you know what we have done is we have created problem statements which are going to have an experiment being set in their homes only. And they come up just simply with the results.
Great.
Power of curiosity.
Yes.
When we started this 4 years down the line, a lot of parents used to call me, what you have done to my child, he's what he's doing at home. And the same parent congratulated me when the girl got humongous package in one of the greatest companies in the world. So it is the power of the teacher. Somebody was talking about that the presentation is thinking out of the box. No, dear. No, dear. We need to think. See, I always say this. I always say this. People might have heard it maybe 1,000 times from my mouth. Always people say, think out of the box. Think out of the box. But did anybody told you where is the box? Nobody tells you where is the box. People will say, think out of the box. But where is the box, sir? Nobody knows where is the box. We at LPU have been working, and now we are very clear that rather than thinking out of the box, we think out of the book. And that's the true essence, especially for engineering education.
So wonderful, sir. Thank you so much. You have spent more than, I think, 1.5 hours. Nearly 1.5 hours.
I haven't wasted the time.
No. We are very fortunate to have your session, and everybody really liked your session. And I don't have words to thank you for making this happen. And thank you so much, sir, on behalf of SEEK. I'd like to thank all the participants also for listening to sir's presentation and all his thought process and all. It's a wonderful experience, actually. I'm just feeling it, experiencing your things. I mean, you made it very simple. That is what is the ultimate success of your session. So I would like to meet you quite often in future with more, topics, even with a lot of interaction with you. I'll be very, very glad to come and visit your college because it is one of the world's, one of the topmost universities. My son used to tell me, he used to admire LPU when I tell him the word. So I'm very eager to come and visit once all these things get over. to see a lot of things I read about LPU. So I'm really inspired, and I would like to come and witness, learn from the practices what you follow. Really, some of them you have shown the teaching learning process, how you gauge and how you improve. A lot of things like good practices are to be learned.
Yeah.
Yeah, that for that sake, I would like to come and visit and interact with you people and learn something from you also. Thank you once again, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. Please take care and stay safe.
Thank you, sir. So participants, we have shared the feedback link. So you can give your feedback in another 5 minutes. We'll be closing the feedback link. Yeah, you can paste that international FDP link. We are going to have international faculty development program from Monday from 6th to 10th. We have the expert speakers from Malaysia, and we have already shared the link, and even now we will be sharing the link. And that will be a wonderful webinar. You cannot imagine getting such expert speakers here, because they're all working on research which you cannot imagine going and talking to them. First of all, they are all high level researchers. I have gone personally to Malaysia, to the university, interacted with all those experts, and they are all really absolutely knowledgeable, and a lot of experience they have. And even 1 hour of session of them will give so many years of their experience. So that 1 hour session or the 45-minute session from Malaysia, they're going to talk to us on different fields. Is a wonderful opportunity for learning. You won't get everybody in one platform, which we are providing you from SEEK. From 6 to 10, we have this webinar of International Faculty Development Program. And even the students can enroll. You have very, very good topics. You can go through the link and you will know about it. And thank you so much for this webinar participation, and look forward for some more wonderful guests who will be enlightening you. Thank you so much.